Welcome back for another edition of NC Sports Weekly News. Kitesurfing World Cup 2013 kicks off in Dakhla. Hawaiians dominate the ASP Pro Tour Margaret River event. The 12-foot dinghy is 100 years old. Ainsi JOYON and Maxi Trimaran Idec set for Atlantic record attempt. AC34 update, Luna Rossa team says Arrivederci Auckland. NC Sports, plunge into the action. With a gusty 15 to 20 knot wind, Kitesurfing World Cup kicked off on the breathtaking coastline of Dakhla, Morocco for the first stop of the 2013 PKRA Tour. Heated battles marked both men and women divisions under the double elimination format and new freestyle judging scorecard. With spectacular slims, KGBs, S3s, and front blind modes, the top pros on the circuit pulled out their latest tricks, with last year's leaders quickly reaffirming status. With a mere .08 difference, Israel's Yuri Zun lost his direct challenge versus Mark Jacobs of New Zealand. Yet the Kiwi would later succumb in the final against Spain's Alex Pastor, who claimed the event through consistency, scoring 5 sevens and closing with a total of 37-44. Karolina WINKOWSKA of Poland faced American Gisela Pulido in the women's final, following their victories in the semi-final bouts against Bruna Kaja of Brazil and Ukrainian Paula Novotna. Pulido took final one with some impressive acrobatics, but 2012 world champion WINKOWSKA upped the ante, landing her best tricks in final two to win the series. A Hawaiian victory at the Drug Awareness Margaret River Classic, the second event of the ASP Tour 2013. In the women's division, a red-hot Carissa Moore fought back the strong Aussie team, including reigning world champion Stephanie Gilmore, defeated in semi-final 1. Carissa then matched up with Aussie local Tyler Wright, coming in from her victory over Sally Fitzgibbons in semi-final 2. The American then dominated the event final, closing the score with a 4-point lead. Current ASP rankings for 2013 now see Tyler Wright leading the pack with Carissa Moore in second. Dusty Payne grabbed the event in the men's division, defeating Australians Jay Thompson in the quarters and Julian Wilson in the semis. It would come down to the final draw against yet another Aussie, Josh Kerr. In top form here at Surfers Point, Western Australia, Dusty sealed his win, scoring a solid 9.23. They closed the final with a 3-point lead over Josh. Would have George Cockshott ever imagined that this minute vessel could still be successful today when tracing the first lines of the 12-foot dinghy exactly 100 years ago? It was in fact 1913 when the British lawyer turned boat designer by passion first sketched hull and rig plans for this 3.5-meter sailboat. The 12-foot dinghy is one of the main ancestors of today's modern sailing, and it marks the passage from simple workboat to the very birth of the sport. Selected as Olympic class in the 1920s, the design soon became outdated in favor of better performing sailboats. Then for many decades, it was largely forgotten, but a dormant passion has reawakened in Europe over the past 30 years. To celebrate a century of 12-foot dinghy history, Swiss and Italian class associations have paired up for the Swiss and Global Cup 2013. Highlight of the season will be the World Cup scheduled for mid-July in Naples. Holland, Germany, Turkey, and Japan also have some of the largest fleets. And this Centennial Series is expected to attract hundreds of 12-foot dinghy sailors of all ages from Europe and beyond. Not much left to achieve for Francis JOYON and his 29-meter maxi trimaran Idec. Yet there is still one World Speed Sailing Record challenge for the French sailor, now scheduled for this spring of 2013. Already holding the 57-day round-the-world mark, having broken the 668 nautical mile barrier in 24 hours, and recently pulverizing the Cadiz to Salvador record in 8.5 days, Idec is capable of holding average speeds of just under 28 knots. JOYON will now attempt to take back the most ambitious offshore sailing record, the Atlantic crossing from New York to Cape Lizard in the UK. Idec already set the 6-day and 4-hour mark on this historic route back in 2005, to see it taken away 3 years later by fellow Frenchman Thomas Colville on trimaran Saut-de-Beau, who covered the nearly 3,000 nautical miles in 5 days and 19 hours. With this extra motivation, JOYON and his team will be standing by in New York for the right weather window, which is expected for early May. Following 6 months spent training in Auckland Bay, New Zealand, Team Luna Rossa is packing up its base. The sailing team with Chris Draper steering Piranha and Francesco Bruni at the helm of Swordfish is moving on to Naples for the last of the America's Cup World Series events on the 45-footers, scheduled for mid-April. While the new AC-72, recently seen sparring with the Kiwis of ETNZ, is now already in a container ship and on its way to the USA, according to Max Sirena, manager of the Italian team. Once in California, the new Luna Rossa will undergo about a month of dockside upgrades and modifications to finally hit the water again in May. With the Louis Vuitton Cup starting in early July, the team will dedicate the 2-month period to intense training in San Francisco on the powerful foiling Super Cat, and to adapt as quickly as possible to local Bay Area wind conditions. That's it for this edition. Make sure you tune in to NC Sports' top story, Inside the Hydrofoil Revolution, when sailing goes airborne. NC Sports, plunge into the action.